Okay, so continuing on with our lecture about the British, and then we'll talk some about the Germans too, about their influence in Africa and how the African people are revolting. Okay, we are going to see that we talked about the British in the Sudan and the British in in Egypt, and they did pretty well with that. Okay, they also have the Kingdom of Asante. Now, with the Kingdom of Asante, that is actually going to be a little bit more interesting. Okay, we're going to see that in 1874, the British, they attack and they sack the capital of Kumasai. Okay, now they go and attack the capital and they have somewhat of a presence there, but they have less interest in Asante than other places. That is until the Germans start looking at Asante, and that is until the French start looking at Asante. When they start looking at these areas, they go, maybe we ought to put this area under more control. And they will put it under more control. So we're going to see that. Hold on. Okay. So they will put it under more control. All right. And, look, the people of Asante will fight back, but they don't really have the capability to fight the British. The British will dominate Asante, but they're going to show the people of Asante a lot more respect. They will allow them to keep a lot of their religious and social traditions, more so than a lot of other places. Okay? Now, that being said, let's talk about the last one. Let's talk about the Maji Maji Revolt. Okay? Now, the Maji Maji Revolt is going to happen in Eastern Africa, and it's really under the German areas. Okay? So the Germans will control a lot of the places on the coast of East Africa, and this is where the revolt happens. Okay? Now, the revolt is actually going to be led by a religious leader, okay, named Kinjeketile. Okay? Now Kinjeketile, he's trying to consolidate people in Eastern Africa that really don't have a tradition of coming together and unifying. Remember, it was always the Swahili city-states. So now he's got to bring together different types of people who've never been together before in order to try and fight the Germans. Now, it isn't going to work, all right? So what's going to happen is that the reason these guys are mad, it's revolving around the Germans' demand that this area grow cotton. Okay? All right, so growing cotton, it wasn't the best thing for the people in Eastern Africa. It was great for the Germans because they're making a lot of money for it. And, they'll take it back to Europe and they'll have it processed into cloth. But for the people actually growing it, it didn't really benefit them. One, it took away from time for them to actually grow the crops they need to eat. So the Germans are forcing them to grow cotton, and they can't grow their staple crops. Two, the cotton destroys the soil. It's not good for the soil, and it depletes the resources, so now they really can't grow their food. Three, the Germans are demanding taxes, and they're demanding taxes that are above what they can make from growing the cotton. All right, so really it's not going to be a good situation for these different kingdoms on the East Coast. Now, Kinjeketile, he actually unites a lot of these kingdoms. He's saying, look, we need to fight this oppressive German rule. Let's go and fight them. Okay? Now, here's where you get the name the Maji Maji Revolt. They will meet, all the chiefdoms, they will meet at Maji Maji, which was like this sacred pool of water. Okay? It was a traditional shrine in East African religions. Okay? And essentially they believed that by bathing in this pool of water, okay, that they would become impervious to the German bullets. Okay? Like, the bullets would bounce off of them, like Superman would. Okay? Now, of course, when the Germans actually bring their modern weaponry and, their industrialized weaponry to these battles on the eastern coast of Africa, these people in East Africa are going to find out very, very quickly that that special pool of water doesn't hold water, and they start getting turned into Swiss cheese. Okay? So we're going to see that, this revolt is put down, and it's put down viciously. Okay, now, so far, every time we've talked about the Africans going up against the Europeans, it has been a beatdown. And it's true, it has been a beatdown. The Africans really can't do much now directly. But they will do some other things to slightly protest, okay? You know, the Africans a lot of times will rebel a little bit more subtly, okay? You know, they won't come out and say, I'm rebelling. They'll do stuff like they'll create songs, okay? Or they'll create dances, or there'll be certain aspects of their culture that is a slam against the European colonizers, and the European colonizers don't even know they're getting made fun of. Okay, it's probably what a lot of you guys do in high school when you're making fun of the teachers or you're making fun of the APs, and we're old. Like we don't know the jokes you're making, all right, and we just kind of laugh at it like, I have no idea what you're talking about, all right, but I pretend to. Okay, so we're going to see that they do resist in that way. Now, we are going to see eventually, like I've talked about it before, every time you fail, you get closer and closer to success. The Africans do not want the Europeans there. They want to be ruling themselves. They are going to be influenced by that influx of nationalism, just like every other European or American or Asian as well. And it typically is after World War II that a lot of these African areas finally get rid of the Europeans and they start to create something of their own. All right, guys, the next video we're going to be talking about imperialism in Southeast Asia and in different areas in the Pacific. I'll see you then. Bye.